Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Thursday, July the 1st. We got Game 5 of the Hawks and Bucks series. The Hawks were able to get a big win at home last game. They were able to tie up the series, so we're headed back to Milwaukee for Game 5. The Bucks most likely going to be without Giannis today. He's already been ruled doubtful for this game. Suffered that leg injury last game, did not return. It seemed like a pretty scary injury, but so far signs are kind of positive. Like there's no structural damage in his leg, so Giannis probably won't play today, but maybe he'll be able to play in Game 6. We'll kind of have to see. Trae Young, he's still questionable as well. He did not play last game. He's a game-time decision for today, so this is going to be something, that we have to monitor. But, yeah, it could be a very interesting game, potentially if there's no Giannis, if there's no Trae. It's going to make for a really interesting showdown slate. We'll have to talk about some guys that, maybe we kind of haven't been on lately, but will become playable now that Giannis is probably going to be out, and Trae, could maybe be out as well. So, as always, we'll kind of run through the player pool, kind of talk about all the playable options, hit on all the guys I like for today, and do want to give a quick shout out to Prize Picks. For those of you that maybe are new here or you haven't been checking out the videos lately, we are now partnered with Prize Picks. They are the sponsor of this video. We're going to be working a lot with Prize Picks moving forward. Prize Picks is kind of a new way to play DFS. It's a fun new way to play DFS. It's something that I've really been enjoying lately. I prefer playing on Prize Picks rather than playing like Showdown. I've never been a fan of Showdown. I just don't like the format. So definitely like getting my action in on Prize Picks. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's basically you versus the projection. You're not having to build a lineup. You're not having to play against other players. They have their projection for each player, and you can pretty much pick whether you think they go over or under their projection. They have fantasy point projection, and they also have, kind of like props. They have, their point projection, assist projection, rebound projection. So we'll definitely talk about some picks I do like over on Prize Picks for today. If you guys do want to check out Prize Picks, the link is down below in the description. Or just be sure to use promo code NOAH when you do sign up. That will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. And it will also give you an entry into their $1 million promo. If you look on the screen right now, Prize Picks is running a new promo for new users. If you're a new user and you have yet to make a deposit, when you do make your first deposit, they will give you an entry into this $1 million promo where you pick they give you 5 players and you pick, exactly how many points you think each player scores. So for example, they'll have, Middleton, Drew, Trae, Capella, Collins, like they'll have, those 5 guys, and you pick how many points you think each player scores, and if you somehow go 5 for 5, you do win $1 million. So it's a really cool promo that Prize Picks is running. It's a shot at you basically have a shot at winning big money, and it's free. So definitely give it a shot, guys. If you haven't yet, be sure to use promo code NOAH when you do sign up. You'll get a deposit bonus when you sign up, and you also get an entry into that promo. So check out Prize Picks for as well, guys. Link down below in the description. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this showdown slate. And as always, we will kind of hit on some picks I do like over on Prize Picks for today, just throughout the video. But at the top, obviously I'm not really going to touch on Giannis just because he's doubtful. I don't expect him to play. If he does play, I would be very surprised. So I don't expect Giannis to be out there. So Trae Young, kind of our most expensive guy, assuming that he plays today. Now, we don't have an update yet on Trae Young. He's a game-time decision. My best guess is Trae probably sits this one out. Reports were that he basically tried to fight through the pain and play last game, but it was just too much. He just couldn't do it. So the fact that he's still dealing with pain and stuff, at least after last game, not being able to play, that kind of makes me assume he doesn't play here. So this will be something to monitor, but we're obviously just going to talk about it, assuming that Trae plays. If he does play and he's fully healthy, I think he's a really good pay-up option, especially since we don't have Giannis to pay up for. We know Trae has massive upside. So far in the series, he had one big game, but then, games 2 and game 3, he was not great in those 2 games. But, the upside's there for Trae Young. Now, without Giannis, I think Drew and Chris Middleton, like both those 2 guys, are just clearly, the top 2 plays on this slate. Honestly, given the savings, I probably would prefer Drew and Middleton over Trae Young today. But still think Trae Young is a good option to pay up for, assuming that he does play. With Giannis out, that does open up some value. So there will definitely be some value to get to that, should make it pretty easy to pay up for Trae Young if you do want to go that route. But like I said, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, with Giannis doubtful, these are the guys that really benefit. If you played NBA DFS during the regular season, you know that whenever Giannis was out, you just play Middleton, you play Holiday, and you kind of move on. Especially in the playoffs. In the playoffs, these guys just their role is just even heavier. Their workload's even heavier. The minutes for these guys are just through the roof right now. Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, Both are going to play 40-plus minutes if this is a close game. You know the usage is going to be there. The offense is going to run through those two guys. We got massive upside for Chris Middleton here. He's not been great so far in the series. He did have a really big game in Game 3, but it's just a totally different scenario today with Giannis off the floor. With Giannis off the floor, it's a big usage bump for Chris Middleton. His fantasy production sees a huge spike. He's clearly a top play today. Drew Holiday, same thing can be said for him. Him and Middleton both have 55, 60-point upside. Very likely those two guys are the highest scoring players on this slate. So yeah, love both Drew and Chris Middleton. I think they're two of my favorite options. If I can only pick one, I think I'd lean Drew just over Middleton. I normally prefer Drew over Middleton. I think Drew's just, maybe has a little bit more upside, but both guys, in my opinion, you probably just want to play both guys. Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, the two best plays on today's slate. I'm not really going out on a limb there. And do want to talk about Prize Picks real quick, because Prize Picks, I don't know what they're doing, but their projections for Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday are just insanely way too low. Middleton's projection, I'm pretty sure last game was like 42, and that was with Giannis playing. And today it's 44 with Giannis expected to be out. So this projection is probably 10 points too low. Like Chris Middleton's projection today should probably be like 52, 54 fantasy points. The fact that he's projected for 44.5 fantasy points on Prize Picks is just, it's laughable. I mean, love the over on that. Love the over on Drew Holiday. Him and Middleton should easily go over their projection. If this game stays close and we get 40 minutes from Chris Middleton, 40 minutes from Drew Holiday, they both can easily eclipse 50 fantasy points, because the entire offense is going to run through those two guys with Giannis off the floor. So love the over on both Drew and Middleton on Prize Picks, and I love them on the showdown slate as well. But then we have Kevin Huerter, next man up, 8,400. Kevin Huerter, for me, I think at this price point, I'm really only going to consider him if Trae Young is out. If Trae Young plays, that probably takes me off Kevin Huerter, just because I think he's a little bit too expensive. But clearly without Trae, he does benefit. He did have a really good game last game. Played 36 minutes, had 35 DK points, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Really just everything sees a little bit of a bump. He gets more assists with Trae off the floor. He's going to have the ball in his hands more. Obviously, he can score more as well. Just going to get more usage in general. The price tag is way up there, though, so for me, it's a wait and see on Kevin Huerter. If Trae Young plays, not much interest in Huerter, but if Trae Young is out again, I think Huerter is a pretty solid option. Now, John Collins hasn't been great lately. 3 straight games with pretty disappointing outings, 21, 24, and 18 DraftKings points. But I think he has been in foul trouble in 2 of these 3 games. I think in Game 3 he was in foul trouble. Game 4 he was in foul trouble, had 5 fouls in 23 minutes. I think Game 2 was a blowout. Plus I think he was in foul trouble in that game as well. Like, I really haven't seen a full allotment of minutes for John Collins lately. He's kind of been getting pulled early. Foul trouble has been killing him, but I think if he's not in foul trouble today, and if it is a close game, we probably do get 35, 36 minutes from John Collins. I think at 8K, he's a solid option. I don't love him, but I think he's definitely playable in this mid-range. I kind of like his over on Prize Picks, just because, if you are going to go heavy on these Bucks guys, like if you're taking the over on Middleton, if you're taking the over on Drew, which I think you want to do, you have to play at least, someone else. Like, you can't play just all Bucks. You have to have, either like a different sport, included in there, or you have to do someone on the other team of this game. So if you want to throw the over on John Collins to go with your Bucks guys, I'm totally fine with that. I did already take that earlier today. I already made a few bets with, over on Middleton, over on Drew, and I threw in John Collins as well. Because I think if Collins does get, 35, 36 minutes here, if he's not in foul trouble, he probably does go over his 30.5 fantasy point projection on Prize Picks. Plus, we do need to talk about Clint Capella, who is currently questionable. We'll kind of hit on that real quick. Capella did get injured late last game. I don't really know why he was in the game. They were winning by like 25 points with like 4 minutes left, and Capella was still out there. So were all the other starters. And then Capella got like poked in the eye, and now he's questionable. So it's kind of stupid to see Capella get hurt when it was a blowout and he shouldn't even been on the floor. But he's questionable for today. We don't really know if he's going to play or not. If he does get ruled out, that definitely is a pretty big boost for John Collins. So again, I would really like John Collins if Capella sits. If Capella plays, John Collins obviously still viable, but Capella himself, I'm a little bit iffy on, just because these last few games, his minutes have kind of trended down. Like, we haven't really seen those 35, 36 minutes that we got, in Game 1. He played 38 minutes in Game 1 of this series. With Giannis being out, I don't know if that helps Capella, because I think maybe like they could play small ball. Like, there's no guarantee that Capella plays massive minutes, just because without, they kind of used Capella to guard Giannis. He was kind of that big body that they could, keep in the paint against Giannis. Does Capella, play big minutes here? I don't know. Like, they could maybe just go small and play John Collins at the 5 a good amount. So a little bit hesitant on Capella, but I will say that his price tag has come down a decent amount to $6,800. He's definitely in play, but I don't feel great about him. Bogdan in the mid-range, I do actually like quite a bit. I've been pretty high on Bogdan these last few slates. He was really good last game with Trey out. Played 33 minutes, had 41 DK points. He had another pretty bad shooting game, 36% from the field, 42% from 3. Still went for over 40 Draftkings points. Like, that shows you, especially with Trae Young off the floor, that shows you the kind of upside that Bogdanovic has. This guy is a good shooter, even though his shot has not been falling lately. He still can knock down shots. He can get peripherals as well. He's been getting steals lately, which obviously probably is going to regress at some point, but definitely at 7,200, I like Bogdanovic quite a bit. I think between him or Kevin Huerter, given how much more expensive Kevin Huerter is, I would definitely rather play Bogdan. I think Bogdan's a solid option if Trey plays. I think if Trey gets ruled out, though, Bogdan does become a very, very good option in the mid-range. I would like him a lot if Trey sits. Then you have Brook Lopez at 6K. I think without Giannis, that does benefit Brook Lopez a little bit. I think that does secure his minutes. He's kind of been losing minutes lately just because of how the matchups have been setting up. Trae Young's kind of been abusing Brook Lopez in the pick and roll. Lopez did play a little bit more last game with Trae Young out. I think with Giannis out, we're not going to see them. They're not going to be able to play Giannis at center, which is something they've been doing a lot lately. Which is one of the reasons Brook Lopez has lost minutes, is because they've just been playing Giannis at center. Well, now that there's no Giannis out there, does Brook Lopez get back to playing 34, 35 minutes here? It's definitely possible. At 6K, I think Brook Lopez actually is somewhat appealing here because I think no Giannis does benefit him a decent amount. Kind of like him in the mid-range a little bit. Then you have Lou Will, who for me is just, dependent on Trae Young or not. If Trae Young plays, no interest in Lou Will. If Trae Young is out again, I think Lou Will is a really good option. He did start last game in place of Trae Young, had a really good game, played 35 minutes, shot the ball really well, had 41 DK points, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. Just overall, great game from Lou Will. With his price where it is, it's a wait and see for me. If Trae is out, love Lou Will. If Trae plays, no interest. So, pretty self-explanatory there. Gallinari at 4,800. I don't feel great about Gallo. Like, even last game with Trae Young out, you thought maybe Gallo would do a little bit more off the bench. Maybe he would score a little bit more, and he was still, pretty bad last game. Only played 19 minutes, only had 12 Draftkings points. Like, at this point, you just never know what you're going to get from Gallo. Some nights he'll go out there and put up close to 30 DK points, and then some nights he'll just put up like 10 to 15. I mean, the floor on Gallo is pretty low. His ceiling is not that high either, so really, I don't like Gallo that much on this slate. There's definitely other guys I'd rather play. Like, I'd rather go to these Bucks guys. Bobby Portis, I think is probably the best value play on the slate. Either him or Lou Will if Trae sits. Bobby Portis without Giannis, I think definitely benefits. Played 21 minutes last game. He did see his minutes tick up a little bit, after Giannis got injured. The price tag is still cheap. The price tag did not move, even with the news that Giannis is not expected to play today. So, love Bobby Portis at 4,400. I think he's the clear top value play on the slate. I think he's a good cheap captain option as well because he has the upside, to be the winning captain even at his price point. So yeah, love Bobby Portis. I think there's a good chance he maybe starts. If he doesn't, he still probably plays enough minutes to be a top value at his price tag. So I like him a lot. Then you have PJ Tucker, Pat Connaughton, who I think also both probably benefit without Giannis. Now PJ Tucker, a guy that not really going to do much when he's on the floor. Maybe getting Giannis off the floor will allow PJ Tucker to maybe grab a few more rebounds or just, get a few more shots up. We know he's not a very productive player, though, when he's out there. He's a very low-usage player. He's just going to stand in the corner. He's not really going to do much on the offensive end. But the minutes should be there. He's been getting pretty good minutes in this series. He probably plays 34, 35 minutes here. At 4K, I have some interest in PJ Tucker as a value option. I think I do prefer Bobby Portis over Tucker, but yeah, Tucker's definitely viable. Do want to mention that Bobby Portis, his projection on PrizePicks is currently 17 fantasy points. That's another one, in my opinion, that is just way too low. So love the over on Bobby Portis at 17 fantasy points. Another, guy that obviously benefits without Giannis. And then Pat Connaughton. I think Pat Connaughton is probably the most likely guy to replace Giannis in the starting lineup. They're probably going to go with Drew, Connaughton, Middleton, or Drew Connaughton. If I can remember the starting lineup, they're going to go with Drew, Connaughton, Middleton, Tucker, and then Lopez. So that's probably what they'll do with the starting lineup. I did mention Bobby Portis could maybe start, but it's probably going to be Connaughton who slides in and replaces Giannis in the starting lineup, and he probably gets 30 plus minutes. He has not been great in the series in terms of production. Like, you look at the game log, 29 minutes, only 10 DraftKings points, 32 minutes, only 18 DK points. Like, it really doesn't have much upside, but without Giannis, there's definitely going to be just more opportunity available, more usage available for these guys. Connaughton's fantasy production, I think, does see a little bit of a bump when you take Giannis off the floor. So at 3,600, he's another guy I have interest in for value today, and he's another guy that I like on Prize Picks. His projection right now is 12.5. I just think that's way too low. I know Pat Connaughton's not been very productive lately, but his minutes should see a pretty big spike with Giannis off the floor. The production should be a little bit better as well, so I like his over too. I think Connaughton, Portis, Drew, Middleton, all four of those guys, I love their overs on Prize Picks. You're definitely going to want to get on these early, because I have a feeling as the day goes on Thursday, you're going to see these projections rise. You want to get on them now while they're still as low as they are. And then lastly, we'll kind of talk about some of these cheaper guys. Like Cam Reddish, last game did play really, really well. 23 minutes, had 27 DK points in that time. He's kind of been in and out of the rotation. He did play, I believe, in Game 2 or Game 3. I can't remember. I think it was Game 2 he played. He played 17 minutes. It was his first appearance since coming back from his injury. Then he did not play in Game 3. He got a DNP. And then last game with Trae Young out, we did see Cam Reddish play 23 minutes. I think if Trae Young is out again, we probably get like 20 to 25 minutes from Cam Reddish. I think if Trae Young plays, it makes it a little bit more risky, but he's so cheap at 3,200. I do like Cam Reddish a good amount for value as well. Like I said, guys, there's a ton of value on this showdown slate. This is easily a slate where you'll be able to pay up for multiple guys at the top. Trae, if he plays, Middleton, Drew, you're going to be able to pay up for all these guys because we have so many cheap options. Portis, Connaughton, Reddish, Tucker, like all these guys are going to get probably, Portis, 25 minutes, very productive player. Tucker, not very productive, but going to play big minutes. Connaughton, not very productive, but going to play big minutes. So, yeah, there's plenty of value today. I like Reddish for value as well. Would like him a little bit more if Trae were to sit. But like Bryn Forbes, probably not going to go to him. I think, without Giannis, he does benefit as well. He probably plays a few more minutes, but I'd rather get to Connaughton. I'd rather get to PJ Tucker. Don't have that much interest in Forbes. Okongwu for me is only going to be, if Clint Capella gets ruled out. If Clint Capella plays, I have no interest in Okongwu, but if Clint Capella is out, yeah, Okongwu is going to be a top value play as well. So, lot to break down, guys, but I think we kind of touched on everything. Even Chris Dunn got in the rotation last game. He played 11 minutes. Could you play Chris Dunn today? Possibly. He probably gets like 10 to 15 minutes, but I don't think you need to do it. There's just way better value on this showdown slate. So that does it for the player pool. I think we broke down like all the playable options, all the guys I have interest in. We touched on some picks. I do like over on Prize Picks as well. Lastly, guys, if you have not checked out Prize Picks yet and you would like to, they are the sponsor of this video. We are partnered with Prize Picks. I'm going to be working a lot with them moving forward. If you do want to sign up, be sure to use promo code NOAH when you do sign up, and that will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. It would also give you an entry into their $1 million promo right now. Prize Picks running a promo to try and get new users to come to the site. They're going to give away $1 million. They give you 5 players. You pick the exact amount of points that each player scores, and if you go 5 for 5, it's kind of hard to do, but if you do go 5 for 5, you do win $1 million. But even if you go like 1 for 5 or 2 for 5, I think you still get a decent prize as well. I think you get like $100 if you go 1 for 5. I think you get like $500 if you go 2 for 5. I'm not exactly sure. They do have all their prizes and everything listed on their site. But check out Prize Picks, guys, if you would like to. If you haven't signed up yet, just be sure to use promo code NOAH when you do sign up, so that way you get that deposit bonus and you also get an entry into their $1 million promo. But that does it for the video. I appreciate you guys watching as always. I hope you did enjoy. Best of luck on this showdown slate. Do want to mention, guys, that I probably won't have a video up for the next, probably for the rest of the weekend. Well, obviously, since the Suns eliminated the Clippers on Wednesday, that series is pretty much over. We have Game 5 of this series Thursday, Atlanta-Milwaukee. Game 6 is in Atlanta on Saturday, and I'm actually going to that game. So I'm going to be in Atlanta this weekend. I'm not going to be able to make any videos, so probably won't be streaming, till pretty much next week, till Monday, and I won't have any videos up till Monday, but I'll see you guys then. I appreciate you watching as always. Best of luck on this slate. We'll see you next week, guys. We'll see you on Monday. We'll be back with another video then. But best of luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.